And then came the injuries, and he's missed. We have the numbers here. 21 out of 51 games over the last 3 seasons. It was how his career in Arizona ended. And it was when we first knew that they were doing the Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones thing, where we've got guarantees for injury that become fully guaranteed in March, and you can't cut a guy who's injured if he has injury guarantees. So if he's not healthy, if he's not able to pass a physical, by the time the injury guarantee becomes a full guarantee, you're screwed. You're screwed. So we've seen the bubble wrap dynamic with multiple quarterbacks, one big-name quarterback a year, where the team's like, no more of this. We're not going to owe this guy any more money than we already owe him. It's already bad enough. Tua kind of went down that path last year, although there isn't much more in guarantees that kick in beyond the $54 million they already owe him, like it's another $3 million. But still, get the guy off the field. Let's not incur the risk of any additional responsibility financially. The moment they did that, because he had a foot injury, and they were talking about him playing against the Cowboys on Monday night, the last game the Cardinals won last season, by the way. They're talking about it happening. They're talking, they're going to have a package for him, Jonathan Gannon said.
Remember that?
And then out of the blue, he's on IR.
Yeah.
He's on IR. And then
a clunky press conference the next day. Yeah, there was there. Yes,
he's not going to play again this year. And the moment that happened, he was done. And I remember saying at the time, and I don't know if we got it on the air on Sunday night, but I remember saying in the viewing room, he's never going to play for the Cardinals again.
Yeah,
and it didn't need 3 sources. It needed common sense, 2 eyes and 2 ears. This guy isn't based on, and it's all. That's the thing. It's all patterns. Like after you do this for 25 years, you start to figure out
we've seen it before, right?
And the moment they did that, this guy is donezo with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, we saw that in a few different examples the last few years. So you're right. All the warning signs were there, and you start to realize the formula or the situation that kind of, warrants that kind of move there. And so, you were spot on there. And I think, once you said it in the viewing room, it was like, oh, yeah, obviously he's done. That's it. There's no more Kyler Murray. It's sad. And you can look at it, too, in some ways. And Kyler Murray's still a great talent. And where I would defend him is hey, Arizona hasn't been that great since he's been there. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, was still kind of learning on the fly at the time as a head coach. Yeah, he had his offense. Kyler ran the same offense in college, so it would work. But those were the times, if you remember, we'd always go, or I'd come on week 8 or week 9 and go, well, yeah, Arizona started off well, but Cliff Kingsbury's offense doesn't have a zig for a zag and doesn't got checks and balances, and teams are figuring it out, and there's just not enough there, and the offense would kind of fall apart. And then, of course, the defense wasn't super talented either. He didn't have super talent around him, throughout his career. So those are things where I give him a benefit of the doubt. And yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, who's grown so much as a play caller now and is way better and way more diverse, it would be a different story, but that was the facts of the matter at that time. Then there's the other aspect too with Kyler Murray. Okay, so I'll blame Arizona. We know he's got, he could have had more talent around him. They could have helped him out there for sure. There's no doubt about that. Then, the other aspect is, yes, the talent we talked about, there's still something there. And then the third aspect is, can he lead your team and can be that? If we're going to sit here and talk honestly, let's talk honestly. We know that those were some of the issues with him in Arizona. I like Kyler Murray. I've been around him, but I'd be sitting here lying to the audience if I didn't go, no, have I had people tell me he wasn't the best teammate or he wasn't your prototypical quarterback leader type of guy that way? An owner has to put a clause in a contract about playing video games, even though that was a messed up move. That still was the reality of the situation that the organization perceived as a little bit of an issue. So there's a lot there with Kyler Murray, and we'll see if somebody can straighten him out and get him in a spot to where he can really show that number 1 pick talent.
Couple of things, because you packed a lot there.
I
not
did
deliberately, but there's just a lot there in what you said.
Yeah.
And this is an example of dysfunctional teams doing dysfunctional things. Because if you're the owner of the Arizona Cardinals and you have misgivings about your players' commitment to the game, and you feel compelled to even breathe the words, to even utter into the ether the idea that we need a clause in the contract that requires him to devote a certain number of hours each week to study, If you even have to articulate that, what the are you doing offering this guy what at the time was a market-level contract? That's the time to sell high. Don't tell anyone. Don't breathe a word of it to anyone that there's any issue with Kyler Murray. And you trade him to another team. And, yeah, you're going to think, whoa, what? The Cardinals are dysfunctional. They traded Kyler Murray. And, hell, I probably would have said that at the time. But sometimes you need to be perceived as a little bit dysfunctional because you know a deeper truth that you don't want to put out there, and you don't want to undermine the relationship. And I think from the moment that got out,
yes,
they ultimately took it out. They were shamed into taking it out of the contract.
Yeah.
They realized how stupid and unenforceable it was. But the moment that got out there, the relationship was poisoned. It was just a matter of time before they went their separate ways.
Yes.
That was it. That was the wedge. And I know there's a belief that Michael Bidwell never liked Kyler Murray, never wanted Kyler Murray. Well, why the hell just sign him to a second contract? What the hell are you thinking?
Well, you know the answer to that.
Teams do dysfunctional things.
You know the answer to that. It's basic. It's basic, but it's the old theory of, yeah, I might not be sure about the guy, but he's a number one pick and he's got some elite skills, and I'm afraid if he goes somewhere else and we trade him and he tears it up and wins a Super Bowl and becomes awesome, I will become the laughing stock even more and have egg on my face that way. And I think that's what scares teams. And within that conversation, Mike, to what you're saying, just a one-off it is, it's the good organizations. You're right. First off, this would not become a public thing. It would not be in a contract. And the good coaches and good organizations would really more times than not be able to get through to the player to go, we got to change this about your life. The locker room, the perception, everything. We got to change it. We got to get on you. And that's what a Belichick would do, or a McVay, or a Shanahan, or Andy Reid, and make it clear to the player, like, hey, I like you, but a lot of people say these things, and I'm in here some days, and you're not quite on all your P's and Q's in the meetings and everything you need to be. We got to change things. We got to change it. And it just felt like he never had that personality at the head coaching position, a strong personality, to really push him that way. And Cliff Kingsbury, I do believe, is a strong personality, but unfortunately, he was friends with him, and he recruited him out of high school, and he knew him in college. And I'm not sure he was the right guy to be able to put that hot poker on him. But the organization, I could sit here and tell you that they're in some ways they failed Kyler Murray too. So there's a little bit of everything to go around, and we'll see if Kyler Murray can make it happen here at his next stop.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.